Hi guys, Wendy Copeland here, Austin therapist specializing in eating disorders and trauma healing and recovery. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is just what it might be like if you come and see me as a client and the process that I would take you through in hopefully healing from trauma. It's terrible, it's awful. I've been through it. I know so many people who have also been through it. And so many of the clients that I work with have experienced some sort of trauma. And so what I want to talk about is if you were to come into therapy, the process that I would take you through. It's called TFCBT, Trauma Focused Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. And what I want to do is really talk about an acronym, practice, that are step-by-step ways of which we would process through and get ready to heal and be ready to move forward from the trauma. So trauma can be a lot of different things. What I actually like to do at the beginning of P, which is psychoeducation, is distinguish between trauma and drama. So drama with a D is really looking at the things that are nuisances, annoyances. Maybe you got in a fight with a coworker, or you got an offender bender on your way to work or on your way to school, and it's just drama. It's not stuff that's going to affect you in the long term, but it's stuff that you would vent about to your friends or your husband or wife or boyfriend, girlfriend, and parents. And so really what I want to work and focus on is what we would do in the case of trauma. So trauma can be a wide spectrum of things. These can be anything from a natural disaster that's come and just destroyed and disrupted your life, maybe had devastating effects on your home or your family, things like sexual assault, sexual violence, even rape, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, chronic bullying, there's war, violence, things that really had a negative, dangerous, you felt like you or somebody that you loved was in danger, witnessing violence, being in a domestic violent relationship. And so trauma can look a lot of different ways, losing a family member to cancer or a car wreck. And so really everybody's trauma is different. I'm not here to say yours is or yours isn't, but when you come, how do we deal with it and how can we work through it and heal? So really that's the first part, is just psychoeducating on what trauma is and what are the common reactions that someone might experience when they go through a trauma. Stages of grief that are really natural responses during loss. Also looking at the common reactions, general things such as escaping through substances or having flashbacks, nightmares. And then there's physical reactions, so things like panic attacks or trouble sleeping, trouble eating, upset stomach, headaches. There could be emotional reactions. You're more on edge or irritable or fearful or angry, sad, depressed. And then, there's also the cognitive reactions that someone might have, such as feelings of hopelessness, suicidal thoughts, homicidal thoughts, maybe if you were a victim, wanting to kill that person, and just the thoughts that someone might go through, faults of self-blame, fault responsibility for something that they had no control over. And so that's really the psychoeducation piece. The next piece on here, and I really want to talk about the next three together, it's relaxation, affect regulation, and cognitive coping. So these are the three skills that we're preparing you to make sure we have a good safety net of coping skills in place for when we get to T, which is processing the trauma. So relaxation is really about the body. Can we self-regulate? Can we calm down? Affect regulation is really about, can we identify the feelings we're having, maybe because of our body reaction? Can we name the feelings and be able to express them in a healthy way? And then cognitive coping is really about challenging those cognitive distortions, that black and white or all or nothing thinking, that catastrophic thinking that it's the end of the world, I can't trust anyone, because there are some good people in this world, and this terrible thing has happened, but there is hope, and I'm really trying to go into more positive, truthful, helpful, and productive thoughts. once we get through this stage, and this is going to be talking about day-to-day stuff, weekly, I like to call them COWs, crisis of the week. So in the training that we learned that people can come in with COWs every single week as clients, and it's really distinguishing, again, that drama versus trauma. But the trauma that we experienced in the past may have some things that trigger us when these dramatic things happen in our life. And so once we get to a safe place where we've built up these good coping skills that are hopefully helping us stabilize in our normal life, we can actually go back and really start to clean out that wound that maybe we just put a Band-Aid over and self-preserved and didn't want to think about. So we go back to that trauma, we really clean it out, and the way we do that is by the next step, which is T, which is writing the trauma narrative. So this is the point where we actually go back and we write about what happened. We only do it in the office. It's a safe place because I want to be here to make sure we can kind of work through it and make sure you're feeling good and safe as we're done talking about it for that day. Here is the next step is I of practice, in vivo exposure, so that we're going to add in some sensory information. What did you see, smell, taste, touch, hear? And really kind of re-expose us to that trauma, go back and think about it, add in what we were thinking, what we were feeling, maybe even feel it again a little bit. And the reason we do that is because studies have shown that re-exposure actually over and over causes desensitization. And so in a sense, it's actually a good thing that you're able to get it out that first time and maybe feel a little overwhelmed, because we'll start to see desensitization as we read through it with all these added input and start to really see the healing. So those common reactions and symptoms of PTSD that I talked about before, those ones that are really problematic for you, this is where the healing happens. This processing is really where we desensitize, and that those things start to go away. Those boxes that we made of categories of cognitive and emotional, physical, and general problems, we really start to see the healing there in the trauma narrative and the processing of it. Lastly, in the processing and in vivo exposure, we will talk about fault, blame, and responsibility, challenge those cognitive distortions of where maybe you were blaming yourself and maybe where you shouldn't be. That is something I see a lot in my office, is that what could I have done different? Well, sometimes you couldn't have done anything different. So next is C, and that is community. So this is about actually sharing the story outside of just therapy. We pick a safe person to do this with. The therapist will assess and vet to make sure that the person feels like a safe person. We won't do this until you're ready, I promise. And then you'll actually share it outside of just the therapy room in order to transition from all this healing that took place right here in this office, and you'll move it outside the room so that when you leave, you really feel like there's some safety outside of here and some support. So we'll do that sharing of someone of your choice, and again, we'll make sure it's safe. And then E is the last step, and we're at the end here, and that's really about ensuring your future safety. Obviously, we can't control everything that's going to happen in life. However, we can do what we can do to be prepared, to try to be safe in our future. And I like E to actually mean exit plan as well, because it's getting us ready for the end of therapy. And also E. So we have the ensuring future safety, the exit plan, and the end. And so that's really where we say goodbye and we get ready to kind of move you out of therapy because you've done so much healing and you're feeling so much better. So anyway, kind of a long video, but I really wanted you to have a good sense of who I am and also what it means to heal from trauma and to experience freedom in that healing of going through those stages of grief, going through that processing and re-exposure and desensitization, so it doesn't have such a hold over you, but that you can feel some freedom and healing in that. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope that was helpful information. My website will be down below, so if you or a friend or a family member, somebody you know, is experiencing some negative symptoms because of something traumatic that you went through, please pass my information along, and I would love to be a resource or find somebody who could be the right fit for you. Anyway, be well. Have a great day. Bye.